Welcome to the SportsBros podcast, featuring the Almighty B-Live, the Money Man, Scottie D, and your host, the head of creative, Eddy Kool. And without any further ado, here they are, the SportsBros. What's going on, world? This be your boy, Eddy Kool, a.k.a. the head of creative, the HOC, here at the SportsBros podcast. And you should already know, 23 episodes in the game, what you're listening to by now. The SportsBros podcast. Episode 23, or 2-3, as the kids say. Michael Jordan, LeBron James. And all the other great 23s that ever played sports, and the other 23s, you're just not that good enough. And I got with me the Almighty B-Live.
What's happening? What's going on in the world today? This be your boy, the Almighty B-Live. Episode 23, how dare you mention LeBron James with Michael Jordan? That's another debate. But I'm gonna let that one slide, though. I'm gonna let that one go because it's not basketball season. But we'll get there. We'll have that debate later on because right now we're in the thick of the preseason first week football. And all right, cool. I'm just glad it's football season. We'll talk about it.
Man, you speak for everybody. You speak for everybody. I'm like, okay, all right. Well, we're going to see some football. And as always, Mr. Right, wrong himself, the money man, Scottie D.
Yeah, welcome to our new listeners. We're glad to have you with us. And, guys, you're really lucky to have me this week because I'm playing hurt. Yep, playing hurt this week. I got frostbite on my tongue. But I'm going to keep going. We're going to get there, man. We're going to do it.
Frostbite on your tongue.
Yeah, I was doing cryotherapy, and I didn't protect my tongue. So here we go.
Yeah, man.
And running.
Wow.
You got to protect yourself. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into these here NFL news and notes. Of course, Scottie D gave us the perfect segue. What happened when cryotherapy goes wrong? You could be like Antonio Brown and have the bottom of your feet looking like rawhide, you know, the what's it, the chew thing that dogs chew with the skin or whatever. Yeah, that's what his feet look like. So apparently, if you haven't seen the photos that's been circulating all around the interwebs, Antonio Brown has been diagnosed with frostbite on the feet. He took a trip to Frostbite Falls when he was getting his cryogenic therapy. I'm trying to figure out how in the hell do you not have your socks on? Or whatever you have on when you're taking your cryogenic therapy. Out of all the times you've been doing it, now all of a sudden you don't have your socks on. But wait, we got more AB news. Last week, you know what he said? I'm going to retire if I can't wear my old helmet because, you know, the NFL is making adjustments to these new helmets due to concussion protocol, CTE, all those head-related injuries. And he says, I might retire if they don't let me wear my old helmet. So the question is, two questions. Question number one, will he be ready for week one? And number two, are we tired of his ass already? Almighty be live. I'm going to let you go first because I can hear you back there seething, chopping at the bit to talk about this dude known as 84, Antonio Brown.
You are absolutely right. Let me stammer on my words. Let me stumble because I don't. Whew,
oh boy!
You know what? I applaud the Pittsburgh Steelers organization because they saw something that the general public did not see. We all were thinking it. Why are the Steelers not paying Antonio Brown? Now we know why. What in the entire hell is going on with this dude right here? Okay, I get it. Freak injuries or whatever happened, the cryogenics and the frostbite on the foot. Okay, you know what? I chalk that up as something that happens. But now my dude is threatening to retire because he can't wear his old helmet. And here's the thing. There's certain things when it comes to sport of football that people are accustomed to, and I get that. You've been wearing the same helmet for 10 years. You're used to it. It feels right on you. You try something because I'm pretty sure with the new helmet, he tried it, didn't like it. From some reports to say that it obstructed his vision a little bit. Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's the thing. They're trying to look out for your better interest. I get it. But again, you're not used to it. You don't feel, but you are the ultimate diva at this point in time. You're threatening to retire. Who does that sound like again? God, that sounds like Ben Roethlisberger last year. Why they start second guessing themselves and wanting to retire and everything? Now you wonder his whole commitment to the game and everything. Oakland Raiders, you got a situation on your hands with Antonio Brown, but if he retires, you get that $31 million signing bonus back, and you do have sure hands Hunter Renfrow on your team. From what university did he play at?
Scott, you want to answer that one?
I actually don't remember. I don't know.
You don't remember. From the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions, Clemson Tigers University. We made it a whole 2 minutes before all roads lead to Dabo. So, Oakland, you're going to
brand new record. Brand new damn record. 2 minutes and 25 seconds. All roads lead to Dabo. Okay, y'all forgot.
But AB, what in the world you doing? Just really, dude. You know what? Retire. I'm tired of you. Just go ahead. Retire. Let it go. Mm-hmm. Let Oakland get their money back. Pick up another free agent. Hey, maybe Brandon Marshall. Who knows? I think he's still looking for a team. But
no, he retired.
He actually retired too. So you
yeah.
know what? Whatever. There was somebody else that was looking for a team. I don't know. Better than AB at this point in time. Yeah, whatever. I'm done with them.
Yeah. Scottie D, where you stand on the one, the only, the diva-tastic Antonio Brown?
Well, as a guy from Western Pennsylvania, I still have my finger on the pulse a little bit of what's going on up there, and it's telling to me that this guy, I would say if he's not the best wide receiver in the NFL, fair to say top 3 to 5, correct? Would you agree that talent-wise?
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Okay, the Steelers traded him for a 3rd and a 5th round draft pick, and I don't hear any complaints from the people back home. I just don't hear anyone that's upset to see this guy go. I think the Steelers and their fans are looking at this as addition by subtraction, and this is why. I mean, he's always been this way with this diva stuff. You know, even going as far as breaking the team rule and going Facebook Live while his coach is giving a post-playoff game speech in a locker room. It's always been something with this dude. And now to hear him saying he's going to retire over the helmet thing, no, he's not. And I saw a report on ESPN showing his old face mask and new face mask, and his vision's not going to be obstructed. He's just been a diva for all intents and purposes. And the dude got frostbite on his feet in the summertime. I mean, come on, man. If you seen that picture, boy, them big toes are broke looking, man. They are nasty looking. Good Lord.
I didn't even want to bring up that picture because that's I know. Yeah.
Those big toes are tough to look at, but I'm sick of I've been sick of AB for years, and now the Raiders they're gonna have to deal with it, you know, and probably getting a 3rd and a 5th for the Steelers is going to end up being a steal. If this guy gets back on the field, which I think he is, he's going to be good for the team for a little while here. But, you know, he's been in the league, 9 or 10 years now. And I know Gruden's excited to get him on the field, but I got to believe even privately he's probably sick of him already. I know he's saying, you know, it was an accident with the feet and it's a personal thing. We support him. And I can't wait I got some plays for him I can't wait to use. But, man, this is a bad start for AB, I think.
Here's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if you've been, if you've been getting cryogenic therapy and you know what happens when you don't protect yourself. I'm just trying to figure out, one, how did you let it get to this point? Like, how did you let it get to this point? Like, okay, when you know you enter the chamber, you got to do this, 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 and this. The requirements to prevent, a long-term injury. Like, was there any thought put into this? Did Antonio Brown, was he not thinking, or was he just doing too much? Or I don't know, man. This dude's 31 years old, man. You figure you mature, sooner than later. But sometimes, the older you get, the more stupid stuff you do, and that's how the cookie crumbles for Antonio Brown. As far as I'm concerned, anybody playing fantasy football this year, you better not touch them, because you don't know what those claws, what those feet are going to do. And I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole, and Be Live and Scottie D pushing. Would not do it. I don't care. I'm not doing it. So yeah, I'm already at my wit's end with Antonio Brown already. And moving on to some other NFL news and notes. The quarterback that everybody laughed at when he got drafted last year, first off the board, Daniel Jones goes 5 for 5 in his debut on his first drive in the New York Giants preseason game against the Jets. Anybody know the score? Good. Me neither. From the looks of it, he looked pretty good. And I read a report that says he has a long way to go before he becomes Eli Manning. Understood. Shouldn't take long, but understood. And speaking of the Raiders, John Gruden said last week, you know what? Nathan Peterman, he's really growing on me. I guess. The highlight of that, his preseason debut was a 50-yard scamper, and I guess he looked solid. And Derek Carr did not play. Moving on to Scottie D's Dallas Cowboys. Okay? Ain't much change. Ain't nobody still getting no deals or nothing. Zeke is still in Cabo, working out, getting big, probably eating tacos still. Amari Cooper is patiently waiting for his deal. And Dak Prescott turns down a $30 million per year deal. And he's slated to make $2 million this season. So we're going to go to our residential Cowboys expert, the money man, Scottie D, to talk about his boys down there in Big D. What the hell's going on with them, Scott?
Well, I predicted that they were going to go 16-0 and win the Super Bowl. And with all this drama now, I got to say they'll probably be like 12-4 and win the Super Bowl. It's definitely going to take its toll on the team. I'm honestly being serious. I'm sick of this stuff already. I mean, I'm sick of hearing about it on a daily basis. I'm sick of Zeke and his drama and not playing out the last 2 years. I think I said it before. I would be more okay with this if he was already into his fourth year and play, if he was on the contract year coming up. But he's got 2 years left. And I understand he's been a rushing champion and he wants his money, but I'm sick of the business stuff of it. As for Dak Prescott, I think the probably a $30 million a year contract that they're offering him, I'm guessing that the hang up on that is probably guaranteed money, if I was to guess, because that still puts him in the top 5, and I think that's a more than fair deal. It's not that is he or is he not worth it. It's that he has the leverage and he knows it. And the Cowboys are planning on building this team around Dak. They've already said that. So, as far as Amari Cooper, I think he's going to, sit back and let the others play out, and he'll get a fair contract. But it's the business side of football that it makes me sick. And I hate the contract holdouts every year. And I especially hate it this year. And I'm a little bit miffed at Zeke. And, I think it's going to eventually get solved. I really do, because that's the way of Jerry Jones. But it's very frustrating at this point in time, early in the year, where you have to deal with this garbage on a daily basis.
Yeah, it does get old because, especially if you're like for you, Scottie D, that's your team. And it's like, okay, I got to wake up every morning to hear about Zeke awaiting a contract, him not showing up. I also have to hear about, Dak Prescott. Now I got to hear about Amari Cooper. I think the only one that's being calm during this whole thing is Amari. He's just chilling. I think what Amari's going to do is just, hey, you know what? I'm going to show up and I'm going to bide my time. I think it might even go as far as to say, for me, as far as to say, like, hey, Amari, look, I'm gonna go ahead and play this year out. Well, we can talk throughout the season. I'm gonna go ahead and play this year out. I'm gonna play my ass off, and if Dallas don't do the right thing, then I've pretty much put myself into a situation where I made myself a hot. Somebody gonna give me some money somewhere. Be live. Your turn.
Thank you so much. I want to express from the bottom of my heart the amount of joy that I get from hearing the pain that is in Scottie D's voice when it comes to his beloved Dallas Cowboys.
I hope you get frostbite on your tongue.
On your mouth.
I enjoy it so very much because 16-0, 12-4, they're still going to win the Super Bowl. You've lost your freaking mind because Dallas is once again being Dallas. And wow, when I used to think of Dak Prescott, I used to think of him as the moral high ground. This guy is an upstanding citizen player. He's not going to go for the max dollars. He's going to do what's best for the team. Jerry's going to build a team around Dak. He's that driving force. He's the leader in the locker room. And it's going to be so amazing. And then you hear these reports, and I'm like, yes, 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 yes. It is the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, they cannot get out of their own way. It is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard because I'm sick and tired of the Dallas Cowboys being referred to as America's team, even though they've been mediocrity for the past 25 years. Like, it's music to my ears. They can't get out of their own way. And so now, Dak, guess what? I am a firm believer that you should be making way more than $2 million this coming football season. When I saw that number, I was like, wow. Had to do my little bit of research. I really didn't do that much research because I still don't remember exactly when he got drafted. But I was like, yeah, you deserve more than $2 million. But $30 million, top 5 in the league, I don't know. There's at least 10 quarterbacks that I think are better than Dak Prescott right now. But it's okay. I get it's the market value, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. The business side of football, as Scottie D likes to always say, that upsets him so very much. You know what? Who I feel sorry for right now? Jason Witten, because he believed that the Cowboys, this is their year. He came out of the booth of Monday Night Football, and he said, I'm going to come back, and I'm that piece that is going to send the Cowboys to Super Bowl victory. And then all the individuals come out, and Jerry Jones, and the Cowboys will always be the Cowboys.
And you know who I feel sorry for? Me.
Who?
And guess
me.
what?
Yeah, I feel sorry for me.
that makes one of us.
Jason Witten can afford to pay his bills, and I'm late on my car payment. I feel bad for me. That's what I feel bad for.
Speaking of Dak Prescott's draft, it was 2016. He was a fourth-round pick, fourth-round pick number 135. And I just saw a graphic on the quarterbacks that was drafted ahead of him. Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Carson Wentz, Paxton Lynch, and Christian Hackenberg.
Oh, boy.
Anybody know what those last two are? Anybody want to tell me what the hell they are?
Paxton Lynch, is he still with the Broncos?
No.
Oh, wow. Christian Hackenberg? I don't know.
Yeah, he's supposed to be with the Jets. I don't know. It don't make a damn bit of difference where he is. Who cares at this point in time? Yeah, Christian Hackenberg, come on, man. Nah, because remember, he was touted to be the next big thing, and where in the world is Christian Hackenberg? We don't know. All right? We don't know where the hell he is. But yeah, as far as the Cowboys go, man, they're I don't know, boy. In shambles. I don't know about that 16-0 Scottie D. That 12-4 is looking mighty questionable as well, too. But
Super Bowl.
hey, man. We'll see. I mean, maybe Jera can miraculously pull something and make something happen and pull some strings.
Wrong.
He did say
wrong. Nope, he ain't.
But this is the same man that said you don't need a rushing champion to win a Super Bowl. I mean,
even though Emmitt Smith was the Russian champion, those 3 Super Bowl rings.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, sure, Jerry.
But we digress. We don't know what the hell's going on.
We're full of loud.
Yeah, so that's it for the NFL news and notes, fellas. Are we excited to see that there's some real meaningful football on TV finally? Preseason football, something on TV.
Can I jump in on this? Let me just take it from here for a second, because as a guy, when I was working at overtime, may it rest in peace. Yeah. This time of year, when a lot of vacationers are in town, they come in. And they're so excited about football, and they would just kill us looking for the preseason games. Preseason football, it's like an NFL season in general is like a relationship. So, the preseason begins, and it's like you're starting this new relationship. And maybe your last relationship didn't end well. You grew apart, you wanted different things, you missed the playoffs, maybe lost a wild card game, or maybe it ended badly. Maybe your last girl cheated on you. Or maybe a referee made a bad call and you didn't get to go to the Super Bowl like you should have. Either way, it really hurts. So you need a little bit of time. You go through the off season, the summertime. You watch a little bit of baseball. Maybe go on a date or two. Nothing too serious. You might have even found someone you liked and been a little bit surprised that you liked them. Maybe kissed a girl. Maybe you watched the NBA Finals and the Raptors win. You're surprised. It was good. But either way, it's not really what you really wanted. It's kind of nice, but not what you really want. You're still hurting from last year. But now the preseason is here, and it's real exciting. You see your favorite teams out on the field, and it feels good. But it's not what you really want. It's like you're playing a little touchy-feely, but like a month down the road, that's the good stuff. That's what you really want. That's what's coming. And then a regular season begins, and you're hot and heavy, and you're in the honeymoon phase. And yeah, you might have a fight. You might lose a game or two. But it's all good because, you see the big picture. This might be the one. This might be your Super Bowl year. This might be your best relationship ever. And then you get into the holiday part of the season, and, you might spend the holiday with some family you don't like. We'll have to watch the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, that kind of thing. And then you get into the new year after the Christmas holiday. And you've gone through some tough times, and the other relationships have failed around you. You see other people breaking up. They don't make the playoffs, that kind of thing. And you might even get to the conference championship. And just when you think you got the perfect relationship and it's going to work out, the Patriots win the Super Bowl again. And that, my friend, is how you get your heart broken over and over again. And that, my friends, is how relationships and football season go hand in hand.
Scottie D, that was great. That was
deep,
was
huh?
I like that. Very deep. I'm like, this is well thought out. Did you write this down, or was this off the head?
Well, it's grown on me through the years. Going back to the overtime days, and I've always been like, preseason. It's kind of nice, but we really know what we really want. It's kind of like dating a girl. We know what we really want. It's like a month away, and that's what I can't wait for.
Wow. And speaking of football, there was a football championship game yesterday. Arena Bowl 32. I'm surprised that league is alive with only 6 teams existing.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that was going on.
Yeah, it was on ESPN2. How did I know? Because the blurb popped up on my phone. I was like, hey, Arena Bowl 32. Did I watch it? Nope, because I was at work. And the Albany Empire defeated the Philadelphia Soul, a.k.a. John Bon Jovi's team, 45-27 on Sunday night in front of a crowd of 12,042 people. So,
wow.
Yeah, somebody won last night, and 32 years of arena football. I'm telling you, man, that league is shrinking. It was I don't know how long it's gonna last, but obviously, they're making something happen with a little bit that they have. So shout out to the winners of Arena Bowl 32.
Can I just put in my 2 cents? My bank account is a little short, but I just want to put in my 2 cents. Scottie D, did you just read off your Tinder profile
Wow.
when it came to the football season, or was that farmersonly.com? Is it
what's Tinder?
Wow.
That was
What is Tinder? I have to plead ignorance on this one. I don't know what you young guys are doing out there.
It was just, I'm over here listening to this, and I'm like, this is quite the little piece that Scottie D put together when it comes to the football season, and it just sounded like a lot of regret and hurt and broken feelings. So I'm like,
as a single guy and as a guy who's not seen the Cowboys win the Super Bowl in a long time, it's the same kind of feelings going hand in hand. So
wow.
That's where it is.
So for our female listeners out there, Scottie D needs some love because his beloved Cowboys have not brought him the success and the
satisfaction.
It's been a long time since, according to Scottie D, he's kissed the girl and he liked it. I don't know. So
this is episode 23 of This is episode 23 of the Sports Bros podcast. I don't know when in the hell this became Love Connection for Scottie D. What in the oh man. I know it's August. I know he's running a little thin, fellas. Be Live, I knew he was up to the wee hours of the morning at Max Speed Shop doing inventory. Me, I was up late watching NXT TakeOver and the back end of SummerSlam. And Scottie D, I don't know what you was doing. I don't know. We might be a little punchy, we might be a little crazy, but yes, this is episode 23 of the Sports Bros podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, you get it. And somehow, some way, Tinder wound up a part of the show. Tinder, we want some money. We want pieces, parts, allocations. Give it all to us. All right,
you can find love on the Sports Bros podcast.
Oh boy, here we go. You gotta like sports. If you don't like sports, we got an 860. Oh boy, here we go. In the words of Be Live, I digress. And once again, I gotta take this here train, put it up on these big shoulders, and put it on my back and slide it on the track. Here we go. Choices of the voices, fellas. Choices of the voices, which is our favorite portion of the show, because we ask you guys questions and you give us answers, and then we talk about it. We'll pick at you. We just like having fun. We just like having fun because think about it. We're just three guys talking about sports, not being experts, professional amateurs, whatever you want to call it. That's what we do. All right, Scottie D, what is the question for the choices of the voices?
We asked you what was the all-time best college football game you've ever seen?
All right. Last week we did the pros. This week we're doing the college football best game in the world that you ever seen. All right, here we go. We have Trey Duke and Chris Overholt. They share the same sentiments. I'm sorry, Trey Duke, Chris Overholt, and Stephen Delamore. They picked the 2006 Rose Bowl game between the University of Southern California Trojans and the Texas Longhorns. I ain't gonna lie, that was a great game. That was a great one.
Yeah, that game was the first time ever that two Heisman Trophy winners played in the same starting lineup, and that was Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart. And what an incredible game that was. That was a lot of drama, back and forth the whole way, and it looked early like the Trojans were going to jump out on them. I think they scored early, and then Reggie Bush was heading towards the end zone and threw a lateral to one of his boys that Texas recovered, and that kind of changed the momentum of the game early. And I think Leinart threw a pick deep in the Texas territory on the next one. And, it looked early like Southern Cal was going to kind of jump these guys because, man, they were really, really good that year. They were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking at the time that Texas, I was hoping they were going to put up a fight. I knew they had Vince Young, but I wasn't sure that they were going to be able to hang with that. There was a lot of firepower on that Trojan team, and I thought they were going to run away with it. And what a game. I think it ended up 41-38 was the final. And
yeah, it was a close
yeah,
one. Yep.
and I actually have to agree with those guys. That's my choice as well. That was the best game I think I've ever seen in college football. High drama, high stakes,
Yeah.
and it was at the Rose Bowl too. So, what an incredible night that was watching that performance by Vince Young was unbelievable. So that's mine as well. I agree with those guys.
Yeah, that made him. That really solidified Vince Young to go ahead and go ahead and pick me in the NFL. Just go ahead and make that happen, Tennessee. Tennessee. Quit playing what you're doing. That was a great game too. Another game I didn't forget, but once it was mentioned to me, I was like, I remember this game. The 2007 Fiesta Bowl between Boise State and Oklahoma. Man, that was another good game.
I think Rambis picked that one, Rambis Evans, and that was
Rambis Evans. Yep, he picked that one. Yep.
I forgot. That's a great call because that was another great one. But I have to admit, I didn't see most of that game till close to the end, and then I remember they have the Statue of Liberty, and then the guy proposed to his girlfriend after the game in the end zone. That's a great choice, I think.
Yeah, that was one of those games where nobody gave Boise State a chance. Like Oklahoma was a juggernaut. I mean, they've been one of the staples, one of the what's the best way to put it? They've cornerstones.
Yeah, they were.
And Boise State was this upstart, and I mean, all you knew about them was a blue field, and that's about it. But man, they came to play, and they pretty much put their name on the map with that game. So Rambis, I definitely agree with you. That was definitely an awesome game to watch.
Yeah, you're right. Did put them on a map, B. I think that's a great point because that program has been one of the elite programs in college football ever since then. They may not be quite the national powerhouse, but they're a factor every year, and you got to believe that a big part of it had to do with that game, huh?
Yep, and to use a wrestling term, that Fiesta Bowl game really put Boise State over. Like, hey, these guys are for real. They're playing football, and because I'm like, the guys in blue turf, and I remember I used to tell people, hey, man, don't you sleep on Boise State. Boise State, where is that? They got the blue field, potatoes and horses, and then this happened, and I went to work next day. I was like, I told you so. Like, give me my $20.
Nice.
Yeah, the one time I bet, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this $20 and run. I'm going to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to haul ass with my $20. All right. Next up, B-Live, you might like this one. Mike Davis selected the Pittsburgh Panthers versus the Clemson Tigers.
You know what? Mike Davis. I'm gonna speak to you directly through these speakers. However you listen to this podcast, I want to speak to you directly. I waited.
So right now, B-Live wants you to turn it up. Whatever you're doing, just give it B-Live your undivided attention. It's gonna be good.
I waited on this moment because I did not respond on our Facebook page because I wanted to wait for this very moment. How dare you, sir? I understand it. I understand that you are a Pittsburgh fan. You are my dude. Man, Buffalo Wild Wings, I enjoyed working with you. You're definitely one of the best bosses I've ever worked for. I don't like you. I don't like you at all. This was unnecessary to bring this up on the show that I participate in. You did this because I appreciate you listening, and you did this. You did this on purpose because you knew you were going to get a response out of me, and I'm hurt. Why would you do that?
Hey, I'm gonna need you not to cry on the podcast. I mean, it's serious, but it's not serious. I need you not to cry because
you knew I went to that game. That is the only game that I went to Clemson University, Death Valley, and you knew that. I can't say the words that I want to say to you because the FCC won't let me be
I love it,
man. God, there's only one retribution. I can't even speak because I'm so emotional to that game right there. Yes, the Pittsburgh Panthers beat the Clemson Tigers that year. It was the only loss that Clemson suffered.
Co-national champions that year.
Wow, you can go to hell.
you can go to hell, sir.
Co-national champs, Pitt and Clemson that year.
But Clemson redeemed themselves that year, and they also redeemed themselves in the ACC championship last year. So guess what? You can celebrate that one game, but at the end of the day, that year that that game was involved, and this past year that we played Pittsburgh, Clemson ended up being the reigning, defending, undisputed. Let me say it one more time. Undisputed, Mr. Co-national champion, whatever. National champions of the world. Clemson. Yes, sir. All in.
So Scott, Scott, what's for lunch today, Scott? What you got going on for lunch today? A dish of Dabo? Nah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You can have your show back, sir.
Yeah,
okay. All right. I will gladly take my soapbox back. Thank you, B-Line, for just having to get it off your chest. Because as I was typing up the rundown, I was doing a
yeah, I bet you were.
I was coming. Yeah, key. I got to get him in. I got to get him in. All right. Uncle Max. Uncle Max gave us a good one. Actually, it was his first ever college game he attended, and is one of his fondest memories with his father. The 1967 Iron Bowl. His first game, Iron Bowl. He said the conditions were horrible. It was cold. It was classic football. They had leather helmets on. No, I'm joking.
Man, you beat me to that joke. I was trying to figure out how I was going to work that in, and you got it first. Congratulations out, Eddie.
Uncle Max, we love you. Right? We love you.
You beat me to it on that one.
We love you.
Oh, God.
Oh. Leather helmets in the first color TVs, y'all. 1967. Uncle Max, we love you, baby. Uncle Max, we wouldn't have it any other way. We love you. We want to thank you for being a good sport and always participating in Choices of the Voices. But, man, that's a hell of a game to go to, man. Your first ever college football game is the Iron Bowl. Auburn, Alabama. War Eagle versus Roll Tide. I don't know how in the hell an Eagle got something to do with a Tiger, but that's none of my business. Yeah, that's a hell of a game to go to for your first game. You remember it being cold and damp and rainy and just they probably didn't have any numbers on the field. Yeah, so that's probably what it was. So, yeah, that's Uncle Max, the 1976 Iron Bowl, Auburn versus Alabama, his first college game. I think it was he 12 years old? I think he was like 14 years old, I think, but it was a good damn game that he went to. Let's see, my man Javier from the Chucktown. Miami versus Ohio State. If I'm not mistaken, that was a national championship game.
Yep, that was a game. Willis McGahee broke his leg. He had a gruesome injury.
Yes, yeah.
And that was a great game. I remember there's a lot of drama in that game, and it came down to a pass interference call, I think, that Miami had stopped Ohio State on the goal line and had begun the celebration and even popped champagne, and we're on the bus. And then the referee decided to throw a flag for pass interference. It was a late flag that came in, and I think they went into overtime and lost. But, yeah, that was a great game, man. That was a great game.
Yeah, that was a pretty great game, man. Let's see. Then we have terrible Pete Talansky. I just gave him a nickname. I don't know how he feels about that, but he hadn't said anything, so I guess he's cool with it. Terrible Pete Talansky. He chose Penn State versus Miami from January the 2nd, 1987, the duel in the deserts.
What was the date on that?
January the 2nd, 1987.
Okay, that was I think that was Vinny Testaverde in that game, if I'm not mistaken. That was his Heisman year, and I think he threw like 4 or 5 picks in that game. I remember it being a very
Yep.
high drama game, and Miami, I think they were supposed to win that game, and yeah, Penn State won a grinder. They got him.
That was the U,
The
baby.
U.
The U. Have you guys ever seen that ESPN 30 for 30 documentary?
Oh
The
yeah,
U.
very good.
Oh man,
No,
that's
this guy doesn't care. The U. The last time I remember, the U was they were facing Clemson in the ACC championship and lost 38-3, and then a couple years before that they lost to Clemson 58-0.
Oh,
So that's how I
God.
feel about
hard to
the
believe
U.
I don't find a Clemson reference there, but we were able to do it.
Oh, I'm
We
just getting started. By the way, I'm just, for the viewers, the listeners. There's no viewers. You're listening to this, but yeah, I'm just getting started when it comes to Clemson this week, and for the many weeks to come. Just if you haven't figured that out by now, just saying. Go ahead, Eddie Kool. Just keep doing what you're doing.
the only thing orange I have is in my refrigerator, and that's orange.
And it's
juice.
delicious. You get a full day's worth of vitamin C. Clemson.
Oh man!
What else you got, Eddie Kool?
shout out to our listeners for bearing with us through 23 episodes. Martin Tracy, he selects Boston College and Miami. 1984, it was Doug Flutie versus Bernie Kosar, and that Doug Flutie epic Hail Mary. That was a great one too.
Yeah,
that was a great one too.
I don't think you guys were born yet, but I was.
We were both born. We were
Just very young.
2 years old, but of
Yeah.
course we've seen the highlight of the Hail Mary.
I remember when that game happened, but I didn't watch. I don't remember watching, but I remember them like cutting to it and showing it as right after it had happened, and so I guess that's a great call. I can't say that I watched that game, and I'm wondering if Maddie did too, if this is another way to throw some Boston love his way.
All right, so here's what we got going on. Mike Davis with the jabs to Be Live.
Of course.
Then we have Martin Tracy throwing in anything New England, and then Be Live throwing in anything Clemson.
So everything's going according to plan today, then, pretty much.
Yep.
Everything's going according to plan. It's going according to plan. Yep, that was a good game too. All right, and speaking of games, let's see, Scottie D, your favorite or most memorable college football game?
Yeah, I pretty much already touched on mine, and that was the Southern Cal Texas Heisman versus Vince Young game. So I pretty much said my piece on that, but I can't wait to hear B Live talk a little Clemson football. So go.
I'm so glad that you anticipated what I was going to talk about. And you know what?
Is it time for me to go to the bathroom? Is it going to still be raining when I get back? Oh,
yeah, this could be a long one.
Wow.
Buckle in.
All right. Wow, you guys suck. Anyway, because you know what? Y'all are terrible. Because I'm not going to talk about the game that you think I'm going to talk about, which would have been the national championship back in 2016, 2017 season when Hunter Renfrow caught the ball with 1 second to go for Clemson to beat Alabama. That's not the game I want to talk about, actually. It's actually the game that led up to it earlier that season when it was the 12th ranked Clemson Tigers going against the number 6 ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Oh.
Yes. And just that game right there was one of those things where Clemson was like, nobody really knew about Clemson until that game. And Clemson came out with a fury, up 21-3, and Notre Dame came fighting back. And Notre Dame was in the red zone, 4th and 2, if I'm not mistaken. Or actually, I lied. They actually went for a 2-point conversion. That's what that was. See, my brain gone. And Clemson stopped them with 7 seconds to go and to win the game by 2. And I would like to take this moment to quote my coach, all in one of my favorite parts of the show, that all roads lead to Dabo. And I read, "This is what it's all about. It ain't always perfect," I told him. "Listen, we give you scholarships. We give you stipends and meals. We give you nice uniforms and a place to live. I can't give you guts. I can't give you heart. Tonight, it was BYOG. Bring your own guts. They brought some guts and some heart, and they never quit until the last play. Yes, sir. I got the shirt, Dabo. I wear it proudly. BYOG. And from that game on, the dynasty that is known as the Clemson Tigers was born on that very day. I loved it. It was raining. It was sloppy. It was ridiculous. But that game right there, Deshaun Watson became a superstar that very game. Clemson.
So we call that a guts game?
That was the bring your own guts game right then and there.
You got a lot of guts trying to sell us that nobody knew anything about Clemson prior to that day. They were in the national championship the year before, and they had a quarterback who was a Heisman candidate, but nobody knew anything about him.
But here's the thing. Before that game right there, the term Clemsoning was a thing. After that game right there, Clemsoning was no longer a thing because Clemson brought it every single week against better opponents. Because, I mean, Notre Dame was ranked higher. We were the underdog. And that was probably one of the last times that Clemson was an underdog. Because you know what? Yeah, exactly, yeah. All roads lead to Dabo. I love it. Eddie, Kool, what's your game? I apologize. You know what? I took up a lot of time. Go ahead.
Scott. That's where they got orange cones in the road. That's you ever noticed that's why they use like orange for like a lot of construction road work. Just to hey, don't hit us. We want you to see us here, so just don't hit us. Just oh man, I got 2 of them. The first one is the one of my favorite games, my beloved University of South Carolina Gamecocks.
Yeah, this is actually Let me sip on some tea because this can't be a good. This can't be.
I gave you 11 minutes. You're gonna give me 5 on my own show. What you will do is let me talk, sir. Do not make me turn into Paul Heyman. If I must, sir. But anyways, South Carolina versus Michigan, the Outback Bowl 2013. That game was back and forth, and the thing about it was, going into the game, I was like, oh, man, I don't know, man. Michigan might be kind of tough, man. They had Denard Robinson. They had a balanced offense, and defense was pretty good, too. Taylor Lewan was a lineman for Michigan, and he was always a problem. So I figured he was going to be a problem with Jadeveon Clowney. But after a botched call, I think it was a 4th down call. I think Carolina somebody did get the first down. I think it was Carolina, whatever. No. Well, whatever it was, a few plays later, the legend of Jadeveon Clowney was born as he exploded into the backfield and knocked Victor Smith's helmet clean off his head. And then it was like, you know what? Gamecocks, let's go ahead and win this game. And they did win the game, the Outback Bowl. Yes, that was one of my favorite games. Another one of my favorite college games is Georgia versus Alabama for the national championship. That was 2017, correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, 2017. That's when Jalen Hurts got hurt, and that's when the legend of Tua, I'm not going to say his last name because I don't want to disrespect him. That's when Tua stepped in, and then, as we mentioned in our pre-show meeting, somehow, someway, the Georgia Bulldogs blew the coverage in overtime, streaking up the field as a wide receiver, touchdown, game over, and now Georgia is somewhere like, you know what, we had a chance. And that was the game Roquan Smith was tackling everybody all over the place, and Georgia played good, but, man, it just couldn't seal the deal against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Nick Saban and them. Yeah, Nick Saban and them. I'm trying to figure out what Roll Tide is. It's an elephant, but it's a color. But that's neither here nor there. All right, so Scottie D, you told us what your game was. B Live went on a long diatribe and told us what the hell was going on. Me, I kept it short and sweet and under 5 minutes. So that's it for the Choices of the Voices section, for this week's Choices of the Voices section. But Scottie D, you want to go ahead and let the listeners know what next week's question is?
Yeah, I think we're going to keep it at college football again for next week. And I'm going to ask our listeners and you guys, who is the single most exciting player you ever watched play college football? Because I know there's some legendary college guys that maybe for whatever reason didn't pan out in the NFL and their names get lost in the shuffle of the greatest NFL players of all time. But at college, they may have been on a different level. And college football can be really exciting, as we all know. So who is the single most exciting player, or the guy that just really got you jazzed up to watch a football game more than anyone else in college football history?
You sure it's safe to stick with college football?
We're going to go with college football again. Yeah, we're rolling. So
All right.
I'm sure Deshaun Watson might be rising up the ranks on the list of somebody in here. That could possibly be a candidate.
He might be up there. I don't know. He might be up there.
If ain't nothing else, he's definitely getting mentioned. Because that's just who I am. And shout out to all of my fellow all-in, bleed orange Clemson Tiger fans out there. I'm actually, I'll be honest with you, I'm very thankful, because I do a lot of different things when it comes to design and the stuff that we post on our Instagram page. And one thing that I hit on was the rainbow shining over the sky with Trevor Lawrence throwing the ball and Dabo Swinney quoting, "You cannot have a rainbow without sunshine." Sunshine.
Oh boy,
And
here
so,
we go.
yes, I know it pains you guys, but these are the people that are checking us out. We are growing because of the Clemson faithful. You are welcome, gentlemen.
Well, it also pains me the fact that our next segment, I'm going to be feeding right back into you again here. So,
pretty much.
Eddie, you want to introduce our next segment?
All right, here we go. Back again is Big Facts, Big Lie. All right, Scottie D, what's the question for Big Facts and a big old lie?
Had I known the show was going to be going this direction, I don't know if I would have posed this, but here's our this is our segment we're doing for my two bros here, where I'm asking them, is this a big fact or a big lie? Alabama versus Clemson is a done deal already for this year's national title game. Be Live, what do you think?
You gonna let me go first?
I'm gonna let you go first.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get you out of the way.
Out of the way.
Just go ahead and get you out of the way. We already know what you're going to say.
No, you have absolutely no idea what I'm going to say. You cannot,
Scott. Scott, I don't have a clue in the world what the hell's going to go on. I'm just going to sit back in my chair.
Please do, because you don't know where I'm going with this. Because guess what? This is a big old lie. This is a lie. Clemson, Alabama, Volume 5 is not a done deal. And I'm going to tell you why. Clemson will be there. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there. The only team that's going to beat Clemson is Clemson, just for the record. I'm going to put that out there. I just don't see it. I don't see it. But I'm not going to be the type of person that counts his chickens before they hatch. Alabama, on the other hand, I don't see Alabama in the national championship. I don't. You know why? Because I'm going to tell you this. Third time's a charm. Georgia will find a way to beat Alabama in the SEC championship this year. It's going to happen. You cannot tell me that Georgia is. I honestly believe that Georgia is Alabama's equal, because the past 2 years they have faced, 2 years ago in the SEC championship, last year in the SEC championship, last year in the national championship, and both times Georgia was winning by almost 2 touchdowns. I believe in the SEC championship they were up by 2 touchdowns. I think last year they were up 13-0. And Alabama had to fight back and had to take it into overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Third time's a charm. Georgia has the tools to do it. I think that they find a way this year, and we finally get another team from the SEC that Clemson will dominate and beat, because everybody says that the ACC is weak and Clemson won't go undefeated if they were in the SEC. You know what? How many SEC teams does Clemson have to beat in order for people to realize, hey, we're just a better team and a better program? Get it through your heads. Clemson, Georgia, national championship this year.
Ooh. All right, what you got, Eddy? Kool?
B-Live, while you were pleasantly opining, I took some time to look at the football schedules of Clemson, of Alabama, and of Georgia. And I'm over here looking at the Clemson schedule, and I won't be surprised if they run the table, against their opponents. I think the only trouble they may have, let's see, I would say Texas A&M, but no. Let's see, Louisville, no. BC, no. Wofford is a cupcake game. North Carolina State, you can forget about
game, it. That's a scary one. That's a big one on November 2nd.
What they call that, a trap game? Yeah, that might be your proverbial trap game. And then safe to say, B-Live, you just may be correct when it comes to Clemson running the table. Now, I'm over here looking at Alabama's schedule, other than playing New Mexico State. Let's see, and they play that loaded West Division, man. You have the Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Arkansas, LSU, and then they got the Tennessee. Then they got that Iron Bowl game against the season finale in Auburn this year.
Yep, it's on the road.
So, yeah, and it's on the road. So Alabama may run into a snag there, because remember what happened the last time they went to Auburn and remember what happened last time with Auburn and what happened after that? Kick 6, Chris Davis, check it out. Let's see, Uncle Max, you might not like to hear that, but it is what it is. And let's go ahead and look at the Bulldog schedule as well, too. Murray State. Let's see. Then I'm thinking, man, the only team that might give Georgia some trouble is Florida. And that's it. and that's it. They might give Georgia some. They might. That's a strong might. Florida might give Georgia.
I think Notre Dame too. Notre Dame could be a challenge for Georgia.
Yeah, but Georgia's at home. And so I don't. Georgia's at home, and so I think that home field advantage plays into Georgia's favor playing against Notre Dame.
And how about all three teams play Texas A&M this year? So Texas A&M could actually have the fingerprints on the playoff the way that works out this year.
All roads lead through, where was it, Lubbock? No, was it Lubbock? Oh, all roads might lead through College Station.
Yeah.
Yeah, all roads might lead through College Station. But
there's another team that all three teams play this year.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, everybody plays South Carolina. So so there's two teams that got their dirty mitts on the hamburger of whoever might go to the national championship game. And I'm going to have to say it's a big lie, man. It's a big lie, because I think Alabama might catch hell, man. They might catch hell between Texas Tech and the Iron Bowl. That Iron Bowl will be a deciding factor, because if they lose, and it's like, you know what, you can forget about it. Your season's done. So I'm, for the first time in the history of forever, it's not going to pay me, but I'm actually going to say it's going to be a big lie, man. From the looks of it, just maybe Clemson and Georgia, and that will be a worthwhile national championship game. At first, when I saw this question, I was like, you know what? I'm like, you might as well go ahead and be a shoo-in. But after sitting down and having my bearings together and not looking at things at 3 o'clock in the morning, I said, you know what? I don't know, man. I don't know if Alabama will do it.
Well, the way Sports Illustrated has it set up, Sports Illustrated, oddly enough, after I asked you the guys this question, I picked it up, and they have their answer to the same question. They have Alabama meeting Georgia in the national championship. They have both those teams making it into the playoff, and just the way the seeding went, they had Georgia going against Clemson and coming out of that game. Personally, I think we're going to see Clemson-Bama one more time.
Okay, hold on. Let's take this back just a couple of seconds. You said Sports Illustrated put Alabama, Georgia in the national championship.
Yeah, they had Alabama as the playoff is Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Georgia 3, and Oklahoma 4. So Clemson and Georgia would be playing each other.
And they favored Georgia over Clemson.
They did.
Sports Illustrated, you are dead to me.
And bad news, they put Trevor Lawrence on the cover, so there's your jinx.
I'm about to say, they just put your boy on the cover.
I don't understand any of that. But you know how they did magazines do. They'll put all the different players on the cover. So I'm just like, whatever is whatever. Like I don't even understand that one bit. But once again, I'm not the type of person that counts the chickens before they hatch. Clemson is not a shoo-in because I'm telling you, Texas A&M is going to be a tough game. I'm going to tell you.
Is that home or on the road?
They're coming to Clemson. They're coming to Clemson this year. But one thing that Jimbo Fisher will regret the day that he decided he wanted to say that Clemson, if they were in the SEC, wouldn't go undefeated. How dare you, sir? Guess what, Jimbo Fisher? Guess who ran you out of Florida State? Oh, yeah, that's right, Clemson, because you kept losing to us. If I'm not mistaken, we've beaten Florida State 4 years in a row. 3 of those years, you were the coach, Jimbo Fisher, and you ran. You took your stuff and ran to the almighty SEC. And guess what you did again last year against Clemson? You lost. I'm going to talk about that a little bit in our later segment.
You're starting to make me miss talking about the Patriots.
Oh, hell no. We got to move on. So that's another edition of Big Facts, Big Lie. So B-Lie's prediction is Clemson, Georgia, national championship. I said the same thing, and Scottie D said, we're going to get Clemson and Alabama one more time. I think it would be good for the sport of college football. I think it would be good because there's a lot of money rolling around in these games as well, too. All right, and that is it for Big Facts and Big Lie. We are coming to the end of the show, which means it's time for a round of pepper. 3 topics, rapid fire style, informative, educational. You just might learn something. So with that being said, I'll go first. My first pepper point goes out to Damian Sheehy Giuseppe. Why, you ask? Because Sheehy Giuseppe scored an 86-yard punt return during Thursday night's preseason game versus the Redskins for the Cleveland Browns. Now, his story is, let's just say he finessed his way to the team. Now, he did play college football at Phoenix College, very, very, very small college. There is videos. And so he thought he would have some scholarship opportunities. Come to find out he didn't, so he wound up going there. And then he wound up sleeping outside of a gym, just sleeping outside of somewhere in Cleveland, just trying to get his name heard. Finessed his way and say that he knew Alonzo Highsmith, who works for the Browns organization, and he got granted a tryout. And let's just say Damian Sheehy Giuseppe made the most of his opportunity. He turned his dream into a reality, which goes to show, kids, hard work, determination, and a little bit of finessing and finagling will get you where you want to go. Over to you, Scottie D.
Well, speaking of finagling, I saw a guy get his nose finagled the other night underneath his eye. Good Lord. Ugh. I watch UFC pretty much every weekend when they have on the ESPN Plus or the pay-per-views. And I watched Mike Perry face a Brazilian guy. I think Vicente Luque was the way he said his name. And in the 3rd round, he caught a knee to the grill, and when he stood up, his nose looked like it was just mashed potatoes.
Ugh.
Man, I don't really have anything else to say on this. Ow! Damn. I'm glad I'm not that guy today. Be live, over to you.
Can he breathe? God, I mean, this when I saw that picture, I was like, yeah. Who did he talk about the other dude's mama or something? Yeah, dang. All right. Well, I know, listeners. I know you may get some Clemson fatigue from me, but
I've been tired.
it's so wonderful to talk about because it's beautiful. But on a lighter note, on a different note, Chandler Catanzaro, the kicker now, well, before he was with the New York Jets last season, he kicked for the Panthers when Graham Gano got hurt. After his first preseason game this year, he missed a couple of extra points. And I guess that really hit home for him because he up and decided to retire. By the way, Chandler Catanzaro, graduate of Clemson University, all roads lead to Dabo. But
I didn't know that. Did not know that.
Yeah, you didn't know that, or you just
I didn't know. No, for real, I didn't know he went to Clemson.
Yes,
I had no idea.
Yes, he did. He had a stellar career for Clemson, and he did some damage last season with the Panthers, making all of his attempts. But I guess 2 misses in the beginning of the season. He was like, you know what? I'm going to take my stuff and I'm going to go home. Left $2.5 million on the table. Wow. Yeah, as a kicker. He unexpectedly retired. Chandler, hey, man, you did your thing, and we respect. Well, I respect your wishes. I don't know about the other two. They probably don't care because, I mean, I'm the diehard Clemson fan that I am. But, hey, do what you got to do, man. Thank you for what you did, man.
Hey, I mean, sometimes you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and know when to walk away. And Chandler was like, you know what? I'm good. My money's right. I'm going to get the hell on. And my second pepper point on a somber note, this past week, we lost a wrestling legend, the one, the only, toughest man on God's green earth. Handsome Harley Race, the King Harley Race, former 8-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion, passed away earlier this week at the age of 76. There are all kind of Harley Race stories, but Harley Race was known to be a tough guy in the ring, would fight in a minute. Matter of fact, I'll give you a quick Harley Race story. He loved shooting pool. He walked into a bar. You know how they have the quarters lined up against the rail? Harley walks in there, looks at everybody, looks at everybody's quarters, knocks their quarters down, puts his quarters there, and then he says, I'm next.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fighting words.
And no one was going to fight Harley Race because he was the toughest man on God's green earth. So rest in peace to handsome Harley Race, and we're going to miss you, King. Over to you, Scottie D.
Rest in peace to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They have lost 24 of 28 since the All-Star break. And on Sunday afternoon, I was laying in bed taking my Sunday nap. I fell asleep. They were up 8-4 and lost 11-9. That was their third. They were already working on their third 7-game losing streak of the season. Before that game, General Manager Neil Huntington said some changes were needed. Please, to my Lord in heaven, tell me he's talking about Clint Hurdle because I can't take any more of this. Be live, over to you.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna throw in a little snippet. That was what, about 4 episodes ago where I told you to keep your head up when it came to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
We tried,
we
man.
tried.
Appreciate the moral support.
My bad. All right. Pepper point number 2. All roads lead to Dabo again. All right, so Chris Lowe from ESPN had an interview with Dabo Swinney about the probability of Kelly Bryant, Clemson's former starting quarterback. He started the first 4 games of the season last year before he was demoted for Sunshine Trevor Lawrence, and the rest is history. But due to the new transfer rules that Kelly Bryant would have another year of eligibility if he transferred as a graduate and he went to Missouri. Well, Chris Lowe decided to ask Dabo for no reason whatsoever. Will Kelly Bryant get a championship ring? And Dabo said he wasn't on the team, so he doesn't get a ring. And everybody went off, including the likes of Paul Feinbaum and the SEC
Lord.
homer that he is. He doesn't know which way he wants to go. Clemson's great. Trevor Lawrence is the best thing I've ever seen. Dabo sucks. Clemson, I don't know. Their schedule's weak. Clemson's great. Pick a side. But let me be perfectly clear about NCAA rules when it comes to championship rings. It is a clear-cut rule. Only players that are eligible to play in the championship game can receive benefits from said game. Kelly Bryant, when he transferred after the fourth game to keep his year of eligibility, he was not eligible to play in the championship game. So guess what? Clemson cannot give him a ring. For the love of God, people, do your research. ESPN especially. You are supposedly the worldwide leader in sports. Guess what? The SportsBros podcast is coming for you. We're on your ass. Because it tells the whole story. It's simple. He's not eligible. He can't get a ring. If Clemson were to give him a ring for the championship, granted, thank you for your contribution, especially against Texas A&M. Kelly Bryant, you did win that game for us. But you decided you wanted to play additional year, and I don't even fault you for that. But do your research when you tell a story. Simply put, he's not eligible. If we gave him a ring, if Clemson gave him a ring, it would be impermissible benefits. And guess what? Kelly Bryant will lose his eligibility to play for Missouri. Just do.
And wouldn't Clemson be in trouble too? Yeah, it'd be ugly for everybody. Just because somebody won.
Right. So
it would be ugly
Kelly
for everybody.
Bryant, thank you. This wasn't even towards you. It wasn't even towards Dabo. It was a media pundit asking a question that really had no place, and then writing a story about it that everybody ran towards. Just stop it.
And then we got Paul Feinbaum, a.k.a. the legendary Ears. If I was him, I wouldn't be talking about nobody.
Jesus, Lord. Eddy, Kool, back to you. There's the ball.
All right. A name that I tried to pronounce last night, but shout out to the money man, Scottie D, for helping me out. His name is Aristides Aquino. Aristides Aquino. Double A. Get familiar with the name, and you're probably asking, why do we need to get familiar with Aristides Aquino? Because this man has 7 home runs in his first 10 career games for the Cincinnati Reds. Some of you may remember a baseball player by the name of Jay Buhner. He has a similar stance to Jay Buhner. And from the looks of it, he just may be a better hitter than Jay Buhner. But it's too early to tell. But if this is a sign of things to come, the Reds may be in good shape with Aristides Aquino. Scottie D, over to you.
The Punisher they call him.
Yes, the Punisher. Wow.
On his way to the Hall of Fame.
With a name like that, he should be.
Yeah, man.
Your turn, Scott.
Punisher. So the Yankees were hitting the cover off the ball last week, and it seemed like their biggest hiccup had been starting pitching. Well, on Sunday they got a 1-0 win thanks to Tanaka, and I'm really hoping that the Yankees can get this starting pitching in order going into the postseason, because I'm done as a Pirate fan, so now I'm all in on the Yankees. So let's go Yanks! Get that pitching staff in order. Over to you, B Live.
Bandwagon much? All right, cool.
Bandwagon today.
Wow. Anyway, let me see if I can finish this off the right way. All roads. You know what? I'm not going to do that to you. I know it's.
Say it again.
I'm not going to do it to you. It's been Clemson overload, so I'm gonna go a different direction. For my wrestling family out there, to my wrestle bros, and all across the world, please, if you have not seen this match yet, please subscribe to the WWE Network for the low price of $9.99. Okay, okay. Commercial. I need that money. WWE, let me have it. But
Because you got it.
yeah,
We know you
yeah.
got it.
So NXT Takeover in Toronto. If you did not see the Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, Adam Cole, baby. If you did not see that match, you are completely missing out. Shout out to William Regal and it was a 2 out of 3 falls match. The first match was a traditional wrestling match. The second was a street fight, and the third winner take all tiebreaker was I don't even think they had a name for this cage, but it was wrapped in barbed wire and just there was chairs and tables and kendo sticks, sledgehammers, just all of the 9 yards. It was a beautiful taste of ECW. Just, oh my goodness. And I'm telling you, this match was one for the ages, one of the best I have ever seen. Check it out. NXT clearly is the brand to watch. I love every bit of it. Eddy, Kool, I'm done. Put the ball up. I don't want to play anymore.
All right, we're going to put the ball up. And Be Live, you are not lying about NXT. You know what? We should do an episode of Wrestle Bros. I'm just saying. I don't know when, but we should really do one because there is a lot to talk about. All right, fellas, you got anything you want to say? Oh, fantasy football, sign up. The live draft will be the 22nd. The 22nd at 8 o'clock. Sports Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. Draft is going down. I'm going to win.
Lies. Big lies.
I'm going to be right.
Big lies.
B-Live's going to shut up. Scottie D. We're going to get him up in here, make sure everything's good, fine, organized, dandy, and we're just going to have football. All right, Scottie D, where can they catch you?
You can find me on Tinder, sleepless in South Carolina. And as always, a beast ninja.
Oh boy!
Oh my goodness!
I didn't expect that one. Sleepless in South Carolina.
I was not ready. He wasn't ready.
No. Be Live, where can they find you when you're not doing inventory?
Okay.
Well, where can they find you?
Well, I was doing inventory at Max Speed Shop here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, 42 North McPherson Church Road, the home of the best brisket pulled pork burgers in the world, 57 beers on draft, et cetera, and all that good stuff. I'm trying to get that sponsorship from my job on top of what they pay me. You got to pay me, boy. And you can also find me in St. Louis, where they're going. Sorry about my bad.
Back at it again.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram is and Twitter be this be your boy. Be Live, no I, THSBEYABOYBLIV to the E.
Catch your breath.
Yeah. You can find us, the Sports Bros Podcast, on those platforms as well as Instagram is Sports Bros Podcast. On Twitter is at Sports Bros PCast. Find us on our Facebook like page as well. You can find us on YouTube. We are currently still under construction, adding more daily to our YouTube library. Find our video segments. Scottie D's with his Scott's Thoughts. We're waiting, sir. You can find my boy Eddy Kool, the head of creative, with Tranquilo. 3 Things Thursdays.
Mash it up, man. Mash it up.
Waiting on YouTube as well. And you can find your boy, the Almighty Be Live, on YouTube with What Happened Wednesdays. The pause is very important with that.
That's the key part of it. Key part of it. That's where you can reach B Live and the Money Man Scottie D. All right, you can find me, Eddy Kool, the head of creative, on Instagram at Kool Season, all one word. Also, the Sports Bros Podcast Facebook like page. The Sports Bros Podcast Twitter account, as B Live mentioned, Sports Bros PCast. The Sports Bros Podcast on Instagram, the YouTube account as well, too. I'm all over the place, literally and figuratively. All right, don't forget, the fantasy football is coming up soon, so get ready to do your mock drafts. Let me see what I got in front of me here. I got my cheat sheet, so ain't nobody gonna beat me this year.
Big
lies. It's because it's like this. No, it's big facts. I'm gonna tell you why it's big facts. I'm gonna tell you why it's big facts, because I'm gonna let y'all have the regular season. Just let me get into the playoffs and let me do what I do. Make it rain, baby, and clear it out.
Clear skies. No chance of precipitation. Yeah.
Oh, it's plenty. It's gonna be plenty participation and precipitation. And with that being said, this has been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast. And in closing, do something nice for yourself. You really should. But if you can do something nice for someone else, go ahead and do it for them. Trust me, they will greatly appreciate it. It's been another episode of the Sports Bros Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Go down to the jukebox. See you next week, guys.
Later.